Coming up, terrible news for Channel 10 as it reveals its TV licence is now worthless. Plus, Foxtel sold, so what does this mean for viewers? And a special preview of the shows coming out after Christmas Day as an actor from Gavin and Stacey drops a major spoiler about a certain fishing trip. If you know, you know. Hello, I'm Rob McKnight and welcome to a special Christmas edition of Inside Media. We'll get to our special look at the upcoming TV shows in just a moment, but first there's been some big stories today in the world of media. And here's a cheery Christmas story for the TV industry. Channel 10 has written down the value of its television broadcasting licence to zero. The bombshell report in today's AFR reveals the local arm of Paramount Global recorded a loss of $322.1 million in the last 12 months to December 31. Now, while the company has been flirting between profit and loss for the past few years, this terrible result comes off a profit of $42.2 million the year before. The network is blaming write-downs and a challenging advertising market. Channel 10 is now the fourth place free-to-air TV network behind the ABC. Traditionally, the broadcaster has been number 3. It's no secret high-profile shows like MasterChef and The Amazing Race are not performing as well in years past. In fact, the network is struggling in the 7:30pm time slot, but has been applauded for its investment in post-8:30 programming with shows like Have You Been Paying Attention, The Cheap Seats and Gogglebox. These shows are often winning their time slots, but considering 7:30pm is where the big money is, the network just isn't keeping up with current viewing trends. The other big media story today is the sale of Foxtel to DAZN. Yes, that's how you pronounce it, for a deal worth a whopping $3.4 billion. The deal includes a 6% stake and a board seat, while minor partner Telstra will receive a 3% stake. News Corp had made it known a few months ago its pay TV platform was on the market after third-party interest and rumours of DAZN being the potential buyer soon followed. DAZN is predominantly a sports streaming company, so the purchase of Foxtel makes sense as it has rights to NRL and AFL. What's more intriguing is what this will ultimately mean for the entertainment and news portion of the business. Foxtel has already lost content deals with BBC and Disney and is set to lose HBO content next year with the launch of HBO Max. For DAZN, this is a sports rights play, as the company has already shown interest in showing Australian codes overseas, and I presume this is part of that strategy. One thing the new owners will have to contend with is Australia's anti-siphoning laws, which prohibit sports of national significance from only airing on pay-per-view platforms. Sport is a big driver of subscription, but our biggest sporting codes must still be available on free-to-air TV. The Australian, owned by News Corp, reports that Fox Sports operations will move across to DAZN, but Sky News will remain part of News Corp. Now, that doesn't seem like a long-term play for DAZN. It's a sporting company. But I wouldn't be surprised if News Corp has negotiated a minimum number of years Sky News Australia must continue to be broadcast and streamed. Long-term, News Corp might decide to launch a dedicated live YouTube channel for Sky News if it ends up being punted from the new-look Foxtel. The news channel has big influence inside Federal Parliament House, and influence is very important to News Corp. So expect to see the channel continue in one form or another. While TV is usually a dead zone here in Australia over Christmas, over in the UK, it is the highest rating day of the year. Families gather round the box after a big lunch and watch special episodes of popular shows made specifically for this day. In 2005, my wife and I went to London for the Christmas period to visit my sister-in-law. She was living there at the time. It was a dream come true for a TV nerd who had always wanted to experience the UK's TV Christmas tradition. In fact, I was so excited watching David Tennant in the Doctor Who Christmas special of that year as we cooled our drinks on the windowsill after devouring a roast pork. In the old days, if you weren't living in the UK, you'd have to illegally download any shows if you wanted to see them straight away, because our TV networks would hold on to them and play them in the new year when ratings started in February. Now, though, thanks to streaming services, that's no longer the case, with most shows being released around the world at the same time. So, due to the fact we are a day ahead of the rest of the world, here are the shows to look out for from Boxing Day. After a bumpy first season, new Doctor Ncuti Gatwa is in great form for this year's Christmas special, which will stream on Disney Plus on Boxing Day. Now, I've been lucky enough to watch this episode ahead of its release, and fans will really enjoy this Stephen Moffat-penned romp. One of the biggest issues in the past season was the lecturing viewers were subjected to on just about every social cause. But this special mostly avoids all that and simply entertains the audience. Now, on the one occasion Moffat takes a writing shortcut to move the plot forward, he basically acknowledges it, whereas current, and of course former, showrunner Russell T Davies expects us to simply buy whatever he's selling. Now, I'm sure RTD treated the viewers with more respect during his original turn as showrunner, whereas now he seems to believe he can do no wrong. Joy, Nicola Coughlan, is an absolute joy, as the guest star, and the twist at the end of her character arc will leave a smile on your face. I really enjoyed this Christmas special after thinking I'd finally outgrown the show after a disappointing previous season. It's worth a watch. Now to Gavin and Stacey. As it says on the tin, this will be the final episode ever of the popular British sitcom, written by Ruth Jones and James Corden, who also play Nessa and Smithy. This quirky sitcom, made by the BBC, has become a ratings juggernaut over there, thanks to many repeats over the years. The 2019 Christmas special was watched by 11.6 million people, making it the biggest festive rating success in more than a decade, so expectations are high for this year. Binge will be streaming the special on Boxing Day, but haven't been given preview copies by the BBC. Such is the secrecy surrounding the plot of the final episode, including whether Smithy and Nessa married after her proposal at the end of the 2019 episode. Fans will also be wanting to know what happened on that fishing trip, but it would appear that mystery will not be resolved. Speaking on the Off the Telly podcast with Natalie Cassidy and Joanna Page, who plays the title character Stacey, the actor who plays Jason, Robert Wilfort, seems to indicate he still doesn't know what happened.
Have you ever been told what happens on the fishing trip? Have they ever said to you?
No.
And if that wasn't clear enough, Wilfort continues.
When people ask, I do have to say, the whole joke is you don't find out what happens on the fishing trip. And people are getting excited about this.
Except on the Christmas special, of course, that's coming up.
We can't say anything about...
You might find out. Who knows?
Yeah.
Look, even without the big reveal of the fishing trip, which would never live up to the hype, this is definitely one to watch. You've still got time to catch up on the classic sitcom, by the way, by watching the entire 3 seasons and specials on Binge, and I promise you'll do it very easily and you'll thank me for it. Now, over in the US, Netflix is about to make NFL history by streaming 2 Christmas Day marquee games. The Kansas City Chiefs will face the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Baltimore Ravens will take on the Houston Texans. Here in Australia, the coverage will start in the early hours of Boxing Day. Now, the hype would suggest this will be bigger than the Super Bowl, with Mariah Carey kicking off the day with a new pre-recorded rendition of her Christmas classic, All I Want